Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and my guests today are Kelly Thornton to my left. She has her friend Soccer Ball with her, and he's a very excited dog, as you can see. And on my right is Alisha Briggs from Snip, Tip, and Release with Peaky. Peaky's a girl, Soccer Ball is a boy. Kelly is also the dog control officer for our area.
Yes.
And so anyways, I'd like each of you to say something about the animal that you have brought with you. Soccer Ball.
Come here, bud. All right.
Part of his problem is he likes cats, and Peaky is a cat.
So this guy's Soccer Ball. He actually started at Small Town Shelter as a puppy. Him and his 4 siblings were surrendered to us. Unexpected litter, of course. And then due to changes in Soccer Ball's home, we actually ended up getting Soccer Ball and his dad back. Mm-hmm. His dad has been adopted, and now it's just this guy looking for his future home. He is a Beagle Pomeranian Blue Heeler, which is a crazy mix, but he's definitely more Pomeranian than the other 3.
Yeah. How did you figure out what the mix was?
Based on mom and dad.
Okay.
Dad is a Blue Heeler Beagle, and mom was a Pomeranian.
So, okay.
I mean, if we did a DNA test, it's very possible that he could be other breeds, but we just kind of guess at this point. So.
He is a cutie pie, but very excitable.
Yes.
Well, he's young, though. You said he's only
1 year.
Only a year old,
Yep.
and he's still working on potty training.
Yes, we just neutered him, which has been amazing. He has calmed down so much just since neutering him.
She calls this calm down.
I know it is. No, he's a very high-strung dude. He just very active. He needs a family that's active as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Somebody told me once that Pomeranians are the smallest of the Nordic dogs.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know
that.
No,
somebody told me that one time. So it's possible they like to work like the Huskies do if they're related.
Yep.
So
he definitely likes to stay busy. Loves his walks. He loves to play. He's got a couple dogs he's not a real big fan of, but for the most part, he's a pretty good boy. I think he'd do good in like a doggy daycare or anything like that. So, yeah.
So, he likes cats, but he likes to chase them.
Yes.
But he probably would not hurt them.
No.
Okay.
It's just a chase thing. It's probably the healer in him because healers herd. So he just wants the cats to stay where he wants them is all.
Okay. But most cats, usually a dog like him that wouldn't be mean to them, the cat can usually train the dog. I mean, we had a cat years ago that whenever we got a puppy, I think we got a puppy 2 or 3 times when we had that cat. And that particular cat, it was a spayed female, and she would just train the dogs like she would train kittens.
Yep.
So.
Yep, they definitely do. Cats are like, nope, this is my house. This is how things are going to go. And dogs are generally pretty okay.
Okay,
so,
you're the boss.
Yeah,
you're the boss.
You win.
Okay. Now, Alisha has a little girl that she's holding named Peaky. You want to tell us something about Peaky?
This is Peaky, and she is very relaxed. She loves, as you can see, she just loves being on my lap. She was actually abandoned outside of one of the buildings at Peak and Peak, and an employee saw her and brought her to us because she was in pretty bad shape. She was pretty sick and very skinny. She was immediately friendly, so she was, she had been around people before. Yes,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So after we got her healthy, we finally were able to get her spayed, and she would just love a home. She doesn't mind other cats. She doesn't mind dogs. She will put them in their place if they're bothering her. But for the most part, she just wants to be on you and own you. She's a medium-haired, as you can see.
Yeah.
Kelly and I are both struggling with shedding season right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we both have, she's shedding and soccer ball's shedding. And
Yeah, well, even the really short-haired cats shed a certain amount, too.
oh yes, they shed. It's just when it's longer hair, it's
Yeah,
a little more shed.
It's messier, yeah. Yes, it is.
But she is just the sweetest girl, and it's it's sad that so many of these cats that are sweet are outside on the street, and it's sad that the cats that aren't sweet are out on the street too. But the best thing we can do is get the ones that are friendly off the street and get them fixing into homes, and get the ones that are not socialized fixed and vaccinated so they can live out their lives without making more kitties.
Oh, yeah. Because the more kitties that the stray and feral cats have, the more problems.
And the more kitties we end up with at the shelter.
Yeah. Well, how many do you have right now?
I think we lost count. Quite a few have left recently.
Around 40.
Around 40.
40,
yeah.
wow.
We're getting our numbers
Yeah.
down, but that's still.
Well, Alisha obviously needs the help of those of you who might be looking for a cat.
Yes, we have lots of kitties.
Yeah. So, and what about you, Kelly? How many dogs do you have right now?
We currently have 6 dogs in our rescue. 3 are adoptable. We still have Diamond, who was on the show last time. We've got this guy, and we have a beautiful American Eskimo. He's a purebred.
Oh my gosh.
He's gorgeous. We are waiting to get him neutered.
Is he a really big dog?
No, he's little like this guy.
Oh,
He's just a little guy. And as soon as he's neutered, he'll be available for adoption as well. And then
How old is that one?
we're thinking around 2. He was a dog that came in from the town of Ripley, and nobody claimed him.
Wow.
So yeah, someone definitely loved him because he is a great dog.
He loves to dance when you talk to him.
And he does this circle thing. It's just the cutest ever.
Oh.
He taps his paws all over the ground.
Yeah, he's a cool little guy, for sure. But yeah, and then we have 3
What
other
about
dogs.
the ones that you said are not adoptable?
So those 3 dogs are tied up in a cruelty case. I'm holding them for basically the sheriff's department. There are pending charges on the individuals.
They were abused by whoever had them?
Yes, they were very thin. The one puppy, I think the scale it was on was a 3 out of 10 on
3 out of
body
9.
scale. 3 out of 9.
3 out of 9.
So they were very, very thin. Now they're huge and healthy and happy, but we are waiting for court basically to follow through on charges. And then once the charges are, whatever happens, the dogs will be able to be adopted after that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. But
So
we
that-
have to get legal, they have to sign them over to us legally before we can adopt them out.
Oh, I see. So that's what the reason is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, you said something about you have to go to court if a dog bites somebody.
Yeah.
How does that work out?
So with dog bites, there is a form. Some people choose not to fill it out because they don't want to cause any issues. But like in this situation I was dealing with, that was a Amazon employee. So Amazon wanted to go through with the court and all that. So what I have to do is fill out a dangerous dog report, and then I send that over to my judge. My judge has to hear it within 5 days. And then it's up to the judge what happens with the dog. Normally he'll sanction the dog, which means the dog has to be spayed or neutered, microchipped, on a leash at all times, like as a safety precaution for others in the area.
Okay.
Generally, first time around, he's pretty lenient, he's pretty understanding, it does happen. But, if it's an ongoing issue, then a different decision may be made if it gets taken to court more than once. So,
Oh, I see.
yeah. And I just go because I'm dog control. I don't really do much. I just kind of sit there in case they have any questions or, but it is my job to follow up on the dog being sanctioned. So I have to make sure they're following through with the microchip and all that stuff.
It's been my experience from things that I've actually seen myself that some dogs will bite some people, but not
Right.
other people. It's kind of like, how is it that dogs
know.
distinguish between somebody they do or don't like? I mean, I've lived with dogs who loved every total stranger
Right.
that walked onto our yard or anything,
Yeah. Dogs can sense. Dogs know when you're not a dog person. Dogs know when you're afraid of them. And I think all of those things are factors when it comes to how they respond to you. I apparently don't have that thing that makes dogs think that I'm, because every dog I seem to bond with, and
they all warm up to you
they
right
do.
away.
But I'll bring other people in the rescue, and the dogs are kind of like, I'm not sure about you, So I've seen it happen in my rescue. So for sure.
A lot of times when we get the newer dogs too, they're scared too, so you don't know how they're going to respond. So we kind of have to give them space. Whereas a lot of people that are like trying to pick up a stray or something will be like, "Oh, come here, puppy," and the dog's not ready for
and
that.
the dog's going, "I don't know you."
Yeah, stranger danger.
Yeah.
So we just have to be, you have to be able to sense their body language and read it and think about where they're at so that you don't get bit. And we've been very lucky.
Very.
We haven't had any bites from the dogs that have come into the shelter, but I think that's because we have, the patience and understanding to give them their space and let them acclimate before we really start messing with them.
Yeah. With cats, if you've already got one or two cats and you want to adopt another one or two, it's recommended that you kind of keep them separated for a certain length of time. You want to describe how that's done, Alisha?
So I recommend, not only for personality, but just in case of disease, because there's incubation periods, so you may not know if a cat has a cold or something like that when you bring it in. We recommend you keep them in a separate room for about 2 weeks where, they can greet each other and sniff each other from under a door. Obviously, you want to use a door with a little bit of a gap. And then, make a process over 2 weeks where you slowly introduce them. A lot of people come in and they're like, here's the new animal, fight or flight, And then they're like, oh, they don't get along. And I'm like, yeah, because you just brought a stranger into the house. So you just have to give them some time to sniff each other and learn that the other animal is okay. And it's usually the one that has the problem is the one that's been there before because it's their territory.
It's their territory.
It's their home. It's their parents, So they get a little bit jealous, which is understandable. That's in their, that's in their innate personality. It comes with them.
Oh, yeah. Now, Kelly, part of the reason it occurred to me to invite you guys this time was a few weeks ago, I had seen some articles about you in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Something about an overabundance of stray dogs, was it?
Yes.
Was that what the articles were about? I'm trying to remember.
Yes. The article was to bring attention to dog owners because at one point this summer we had 17 dogs.
Right. I remember talking with you about that the last time that you were on, that you had 17 dogs.
Yes.
Is it just that some dog owners are letting their dogs run around town by themselves, or what was that?
Sometimes that's the case, but where we live is very rural, I guess. Lots of farms, so it's always been in the past, well, it's a farm dog, it's a working dog, it can run. But what's happening is these farms are becoming less and less, and you've got people that don't run farms moving in, and these dogs are going onto their property. So my calls are increasing because, people are making me aware that these dogs are not staying on their property. And then the problem is oftentimes I'll take a dog in and people won't claim it. And it's not only devastating for the dog, it's devastating for me as well, because that means that's one less space I have to help another dog. There are charges that go along with reclaiming your dog. You have to make sure your dog has a rabies vaccine. You got to make sure it's licensed before I can return it. And then however long it takes, for you to get that done, I have to charge a fee per day. And a lot of people don't want to pay that. So I think that's what's going on with the abundance of dogs that we've had lately. But that has improved since the article, knock on wood. So I hope I brought attention to, the ongoing issue.
Okay, so people have been doing a better job of
keeping dogs
keeping
contained.
the dogs contained.
Yep,
Okay.
and when I do get them, they're feeling a little bit better about reaching out, because I will work with them. If I have to take the dog myself to get the rabies vaccine and they just reimburse me, I'll do that. Because in all honesty, our shelters are full, and if I can get a dog reunited with a good family, as long as it's a good family, I would much rather take that route than surrender it to a shelter. So
Somebody's down standing and walking around on the floor.
Yeah, we're not playing with those cords, Miss Ma'am.
Yeah, especially don't chew them.
That's what she was thinking about it. She's like, oh, toys. What are you doing?
Yeah, she's a cutie pie, all right.
good boy.
Okay,
Where are you
let's
going?
see.
In her defense, this is her first time on a harness. And she's like, what are you doing?
I usually don't have to be hooked up to anything.
Yes.
She
She's
is cute. You don't know how old she is then?
Somewhere between 2 and 3, we were thinking. She's definitely not a kitten, but she's, not elderly yet either.
Oh, okay, okay.
She's got a lot of spunk still.
Now, a few weeks ago, I also saw, I wish I had cut it out because then I'd know what I was talking about, in the newspaper, an article about a young guy, and I don't remember, it was either Frewsburg or Forestville. There was an article about a young guy who I thought in the picture looked like a teenager who has started a cat shelter, and it's in either Frewsburg or Forestville.
It's in Frewsburg. His
Oh, you
name
know?
is Finn. Yep.
Oh, okay, so
Yep.
you do know about him
Yep.
then. The article said something about his aunt is a vet tech or something like that who helps him with the cat's health. And I was wondering if you knew him.
I don't know him personally, but I have interacted with him. I love what he's doing. I think it's amazing. I wish more younger people would do what he's doing because it's great, and he enjoys it, and his family supports that. And I feel that right there makes all the difference.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it sounds like he's got a good support system
does.
with a relative that's a vet tech and
Yep.
like that. So that should work out pretty well.
Yeah.
Is he still a teenager in high school?
Yeah, I
or
can't remember
something?
how old. 14 maybe?
I knew he
He's
looked.
a younger guy.
I knew he looked really young.
Yeah, he is very
Um,
young, but he has a passion and
Yeah.
he means it, and that's wonderful.
I wonder if I could get him to come on. I don't suppose you have his contact information.
I know his Facebook. If you want to contact him on Facebook, for sure. They're really good about messaging you back.
Are
I've
they?
messaged them a few times. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for
And that's
sure.
what we need is more younger people to
We
step
do.
in and say, okay, I want to help with this situation. I mean, especially once we started really getting going with the shelter, it's hard for us to manage all of the different areas that need addressed. Not only within the shelter, taking care of the ones that we have, getting the ones that we need to catch, and
Adopting them out.
paperwork, New York State paperwork. It's a lot, and we carry insurance, things like that. So we just have a lot of administrative things and daily animal care things that are going on behind the scenes that people don't necessarily realize we're for the most part handling.
It's got to be a lot of work when you are taking care of 40 cats. Just within your own just your own family is doing this.
Yes.
That's a lot of cats. So,
And my own cats at home get pretty upset because I'm never there when especially during kitten season, because I'm always out running around. So my own cats are pretty upset with me because they're like, "Where have you been? Also, you smell like 40 other cats."
Well, how can people get a hold of you if they want to adopt a cat from you?
The best way is to contact the Small Town Shelter's Facebook page.
Okay.
Because Small Town Shelter handles the adoptions. We are just the TNR program, trap, neuter, return. I'm sorry. So we are the ones collecting cats, and Small Town Shelter is the one adopting them out.
Okay, that makes it complicated right there, doesn't it?
But as of right now, our jobs mix. With only 2 of us running everything, it's not. She helps me a lot with dog care. I help her with, the trapping. Being that there's just 2 of us, we kind of do a little bit of everything. But our goal is to be her the trapper, me the adopter, and hopefully be able to focus more on our individual jobs instead
Oh,
of.
okay.
She's better with social interaction than me.
And she's better with the vet stuff. She can handle the aftercare for surgeries, and I'm not really a fan of that part. So.
Yeah, I'm comfortable doing microchips and vaccines and things like that. And, sometimes the surgeries, like if an eye has to be removed, there's some pretty icky stuff that goes on that we need to, keep taking care of for a couple of weeks. I've had leg amputations that I've had to take care of for 6 weeks. So there's some less pleasant things that go on that, Kelly's not okay with.
No, I'm good on that. I'll clean a cat pan with the best of them. Just don't make me mess with gauze and eyes.
Yeah.
She had to leave the room when I did it.
That would probably creep a lot of people out to have to take care of an eye socket where the eye is gone. And you don't put a glass eye in a cat, do you? No.
I mean, there's some people that after they're healed, they stick stick-on googly eyes on there. And there's funny videos on the internet of that.
Yeah, I think that's a bit on the weird side.
Yeah.
To do that.
That's definitely why they do it.
So, I almost think it would probably look better if it was just with the eye gone without something weird stuck
They
on
stitch
it.
them closed.
Yeah, they're
so
closed.
you can't see in the socket. It's closed.
Yeah, okay.
We just had one recently from Mayville that had to have her eye removed. We weren't sure if she even had an eye in there, and they got in there and it had gotten infected or injured and then infected so much that it shrunk down to so small that you couldn't see it.
But the veterinarian managed to find it and get it out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then clean the socket out and then stitch it closed so that she can, because she could get further infections inside the socket if it's not cleaned out and properly closed.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it's important when they're missing an eye or have a severe eye injury that the eye needs to be removed is to get it closed up so they don't die of an infection in the socket.
Oh, right. Let's see, I was trying to think of something a moment ago. Yeah, what about, now I've heard people say that, like people sometimes have a dog and the dog will have cataracts and they actually have to get cataract surgery for the dogs. Is that something that you know about?
It is something that some people do. Other people just kind of let them age gracefully, but some people do the whole cataract surgery, and you can actually put pacemakers in dogs now. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, when people
so
pass, they can donate it.
Sometimes dogs have a heart condition.
Oh,
where
all
they,
the time. It's
Really?
really common. Yeah.
Really? I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Dogs that have trouble breathing, a lot of the times it has to do with like a congestive heart.
Congestive
they
failure.
have trouble breathing because of congestive
Because of the heart.
failure.
Yeah. So like if
Okay.
you have an older dog that has trouble breathing, it's a very good chance that it's having some heart issues. I obviously get vet care, obviously, but
Yeah.
they're just like us. They get the same stuff that we do and age just like we do. And
Yeah.
And one of the
So-
biggest signs of congestive heart failure is a dry cough.
Yes.
A dry
A
cough.
dry
Yep.
cough that the dogs will have, and you'll think that they're choking on something or they've gotten into something because that's just what it sounds like. But a dry cough is the sign because there's fluid around their lungs, and they need to see the vet so they can get proper prescription medication in order to relieve that fluid pressure on their lungs.
Yeah, I remember, this isn't congestive heart failure, but I remember one time when I was pet sitting for some neighbors of ours who at this particular time had 4 dogs and 2 cats at the time. And I remember the one dog, a Springer Spaniel, liked to chew on sticks. I mean, that dog must have had the strongest jaws in the Mayville area, because that dog would pick up a piece of firewood that big around and run around with it in its mouth. Oh, gosh. You naughty little boy, you.
She got back on my lap. She was like, okay.
Enough of this. Yeah, you know. So anyway, this dog, one of the times that I was pet sitting for this family, that particular dog had a piece of wood sitting on top of their throat, way in the back of their mouth. So, you know, I had to go to the veterinarians. I called the veterinarian first, and I said, I'm bringing so-and-so's dog over because, and I explained the situation, you know, so I didn't want to try to take it out myself.
Right.
To begin with, the dog wouldn't hold still, and I didn't want to reach in there and wind up getting bit or something. So I made an emergency trip to the veterinarians, and when they saw me pull in and get out of the car with the dog, they had me come to a different door than the door most people come in when they get to the veterinarians, and they're motioning me to come in. And you know, honestly, it's a good thing I went, because it took both me and the veterinarian's wife to hold the dog. Yeah. And he reached in there with a certain tool that was hooked at the end so that would grab it out, you know, and we had to make sure the dog was perfectly still at first. There's no way I would have been able to do that myself.
Yep,
and
for sure.
So I said, when we were finished, I said, how much is my neighbor going to owe you for this? And he goes, oh, I'm not going to charge for that, you know. So just to get something out of the dog's throat. But that was a little bit on the scary side, you know.
Yeah, for sure. We give them all. They have they're like deer antlers, kind of, and each of my rescue dogs has one that they can gnaw on, but it won't break. So you know, it's good for their teeth, but they're not breaking it off and getting it in their throat.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, because it's just natural for dogs to want to do that. So you have to provide them with a safe alternative.
A safe alternative. Yeah.
And we recommend rawhide-free treats.
Yes.
What would a veterinarian do if the piece of wood had actually gone down into the throat? They might have to. I've heard of people having to spend huge amounts of money because they would have a dog that swallowed a hand towel or something, and the person would have to pay thousands of dollars to
the
have.
vet has to open the animal up to get it out, and it is costly.
Oops.
You two are not behaving.
That's why animals are so much fun. You never know what they're going to do.
They're unpredictable for sure.
She acted like she was going to come lay down, and then she was like, no, I'm going to grab the tablecloth. The tablecloth is all the way this way now. In a couple minutes, we'll be back all the way that way.
I'm just noticing here that what we're seeing on the monitor is not mirror image. It makes it look like Alicia's the one sitting over there and Kelly's over here is what it looks like. So now you said that I said that this dog looked a bit on the chubby side when you came in with him, and you said it seems to run in the dog's family.
Yes, his dad is chubby. And his two siblings that I adopted to people I knew, they're both chubby. And this guy, he's only been fixed about 3 weeks, but he's probably put on about 4 pounds.
Since he got
neutered.
Got neutered.
Yeah, so we're going to have to cut back on his food intake and maybe lower the calories. He is on puppy food because he's only 1, but now that he's neutered, it's time to kind of scale back
Oh,
a
okay.
little
So
bit.
you said you can get lower calorie
Yes.
foods for
Yes.
the dogs that helps keep them slim.
Yeah.
And
And activity is important too.
yes, yes.
He's a little bit prissy. He doesn't like the snow, so.
Yeah.
Oh, this one doesn't?
Yeah, he don't like snow. He don't like the kennel. He goes outside. He comes in. He's done. He don't.
As
like,
soon as he goes to the toilet, he
Yeah.
comes right back in.
Yep, he is at the door. Let me in. He don't like cold. He don't like wet. He don't like mud.
He stepped in a puddle in the parking lot on the way in here and just made this horrible face and was like, shaking his paw out.
Yeah, he's a funny little guy. So.
Yeah. Barb and Trevor Nickerson were on here a couple of episodes back, and it's my understanding that the two of you are acquainted with Barb and Trevor.
Oh, yes. Barb has been very, very helpful with the stray population in Mayville. Her and I worked together almost immediately to work on the cats at Tops because they kind of go back and forth between their property, and then they go through the Tops parking lot in the back alleyway and go to another property on Elm, and they both just kind of, or all the cats just kind of go back and forth between these two places. So it was, when I was trying to trap those cats, it was difficult to try to figure out which house this particular cat was at. At first I just set traps and whatever I had, it didn't matter. But once I started actually getting a bunch of them, I needed to try to target the ones that weren't fixed yet. So we went back and forth. Actually, Barb, it was hilarious because she was, the first time she actually trapped for me, she was so excited. She goes, "It was so quick and easy."
Well, in some cases it probably is, but I'll bet there's plenty of times.
Oh, there's still a female that's
Yeah, we can't,
out there that we
that
can't
one that
get.
we talk
One
about
that
every
has
time.
not been spayed.
Can't get her.
Can't get her.
Oh my gosh, I think you mentioned her before. Now you
I've
said,
mentioned her every time.
you
She's still
said
out
that there is a caretaker for the feral cat
Yes.
colony.
They still need to be provided food and water so they're not eating all the wildlife instead. And they need to have shelter. But, I don't think it's fair to pull them from the street and euthanize them rather than, because that's what a lot of people would like to see, is for us to just catch them and then put them down. But that's not going to solve the problem. These cats are going to continue to patrol their area and not produce more kittens. A male that we fix will still guard his area, his territory, so new ones don't move in, particularly males. I mean, he'd probably let a female in.
So is that the only problem that you have right now with the Mayville cat situation?
I think that it's, as far as I'm aware,
But it's spring.
it's spring, and that particular cat has had kittens again already on Elm Street. So
Are you flirting with me? She's doing that eye thing
Yep.
that cats
The slow
do
blank.
that means I love you, where they go like this.
she's like, "I will love you forever if you make this lady let me down."
You are a cutie pie. So, okay, so you will see. Do cats go through menopause? I mean, at a certain age? No?
We had a 10-year-old female that we spayed. She had been a colony cat for forever, and no one addressed it. So she was 10 years old, and she came in with a litter of kittens.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
we did fix her, and she found a great home. Never had to have a kitten again. So it was a happy ending, but it's sad that it took someone 10 years to stop that cycle.
And that could be 20 litters of kittens in 10 years from that one
Wow.
cat, because they can have 2 litters a year.
Can well, a lot of cats can live. Most of the cats I've had have lived to be around 18 years old.
Those are indoor cats. The outdoor cats,
5
usually-
years maximum,
mostly
usually.
5 years, because they get hit, they get sick, they get injured. They fight amongst themselves. They get abscesses and go septic. It's hard.
I actually have a colony in Sherman I did, and there were 20 6 cats.
26 feral cats?
Yep, in this colony, and I think we're down to 18 already, and it's only been not even 2 years. So that's how fast feral cats, you know, they meet their demise. It's sad, it's horrible,
I know,
but it's
I
the
know.
life of a feral cat. Like, you know, it would be cruel to bring them inside. They're feral, you know, they don't
like
want to
it.
be in a house. They don't want to be inside. So we just kind of just make sure they're not reproducing and let them live out their lives. But
They climb the walls, and I had one eat a wooden window frame trying to get out. And
yes,
if they can
screens.
see outside, they're going to try to go for it.
Oh, okay.
In fact, it was one of the Mabel cats that ate the window. So
Oh my gosh.
I still haven't replaced that one.
You haven't replaced it?
No, I owe my dad a windowsill because he was fostering them for me while they recovered from surgery.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Dad.
Oh no.
Because we try to, if they're from certain colonies, we try to keep them housed together so that there's not any disease spread that can go back and
Yes.
forth.
I recently saw something on YouTube. I watched a few animal YouTube videos recently. One of them was this horrible mess of a dog that this girl shampooed like 3 or 4 really long bushy hair, and that she had to shampoo it 3 or 4 times before she could get around to doing any more grooming. And that was kind of interesting, but a little bit monotonous because it took so long, and
Yes.
she showed the whole process. But then there was another YouTube video I watched about a woman who has a shelter for black cats. Her reason for helping black cats is people don't like to adopt black cats.
Same with
now,
dogs.
black cats are one of my favorite
Yep.
cat colors. Yeah, so I, of course, have a lot of trouble understanding why
Right.
people don't want to adopt black cats. I'm not sure if it has to do with that old superstition about a black cat.
It's
If
that,
a black cat crosses your path, you'll have bad luck. Well, I'll tell you what, people, those of you who are watching, at various times in your life, you're going to have bad luck, whether a black cat walks in front of you or not. It's
Exactly.
just the nature of the nature of the lives we live. Somewhere
Yes.
along the line, we're going to have some bad luck, but
Nothing to do with the cats.
Nothing to do with the cats. Do you think that's the main reason?
I mean that, and there's so many black cats. Like, it's not uncommon to have black kittens in almost every litter. It's a very common
Yeah.
color.
Well,
and people like to see the different patterns on
Right.
cats and things like that. So,
Well,
they get
yeah.
overlooked.
This woman that has this black cat shelter, she was saying that actually a lot of shelters that are not no-kill shelters will euthanize black cats after they've had them for a while because the people won't adopt the black
Yeah.
cats. And I've had other people tell me that
Yeah.
too. One time I was having a conversation with somebody who said that she volunteers and brushes all the cats at the Thrifty Kitty.
Uh-huh.
And she said that one time when I told her I had adopted 2 black cats from the Thrifty Kitty, because they were the ones I liked. And she said, "Oh, I'm so glad that the ones you adopted are black ones." She said, "Because we have a lot of trouble finding homes for the black cats."
And it's the same with black dogs.
Is it?
It is.
That's actually my husband's preference.
It's mine as well.
Is black.
I've only ever had black dogs. So,
Yeah,
like, these guys
yeah,
are
yeah.
totally foreign to me because I've always done the black dogs because I know they're less adoptable. So,
Oh, is that the reason that you
Yeah.
do it? Well, that's not the reason my husband preferred black
Well,
ones.
no,
he,
it's a
he
preference,
thinks that
too.
when they get dirty, it doesn't show
That's
on,
true.
on the black dogs.
It
But,
will on your blankets.
yeah. So,
Learned that a couple of times.
so black dogs and black cats both. That is so weird.
yeah.
But Jake
not-
was kind of difficult to find a home for. He was a black pit bull mix of some
Yes.
variety with a very large head.
Oh, the last time Patty Benton comes on Fresh Perspectives a couple times a year. Do you know her?
Yes.
She works at the Canine Rescue in Westfield.
Yep.
And the last time she was on, she brought a black pit bull on.
Yeah.
And a young one, you know. And he was probably the most beautiful pit bull I've ever seen.
Yes.
But,
Jake is gorgeous.
But you know the particular dog?
No, our
ours.
black dog was
your
gorgeous.
Black dog
Yeah.
was gorgeous. But anyway, it was a very pretty pit bull. They'd had to take him back from where he'd been adopted because the person that adopted him didn't want to be bothered with having the dogs neutered, but he had another dog, a German Shepherd, that was not neutered and was, of course, a lot bigger than the young pit bull. And so that dog was abusing
The other one.
the bigger dog was abusing the pit bull.
Yes.
And so, and then
Sit, buddy.
a girlfriend moved in with a man, and she had a female dog that was not spayed. And so, of course, the two male dogs were getting in fights over the.
That's a recipe for disaster.
So they had to take the dog. They had to take the dog back because they'd adopted it out in good faith and expected it to be taken
Right.
care of properly. But
Yep.
then the people didn't do that. So,
We actually make people sign a contract that says if the dog is not neutered, like puppies, I can't neuter puppies till they're a certain weight with my vet. So we make them sign a contract that says by 6 months, you'll have either scheduled or have the surgery done. And I do follow up.
And that we are allowed to call the vet that
Yes.
they put on the paperwork to confirm this. So, and, continued care. Even a year later, we can call that vet and make sure that dog is getting their vaccines and they're scheduled for any surgeries they need.
Well, that must be how they found out they needed to take the dog away from the person. They were probably checking out all of those things.
Yeah, because there's follow-up calls. You've got to end the application process, and once an animal is spayed or neutered, that's when I officialize the adoption. But prior to that, you're just fostering, and if you don't follow what we need you to follow, you can't be a foster. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how we do that, is foster to adopt. So then that way we're not holding all these dogs and cats that are waiting. So
By the way, those of you in the viewing audience who might be interested, the dog, I think both the dog and the cat are ready for adoption.
Yes,
Is
they
that
are.
correct? So if you want a really pretty kitty or a really cute dog named Soccer Ball, they are both available for adoption. And we are recording this program the very day it's going to start airing. So right now, both of these animals are still available. So you can contact Kelly at the Small Town Shelter.
Yep.
And if you want one of these animals.
Yep. Our phone number is 716-224-2244. And if for some reason we don't answer, just leave a message. We'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. So.
Yeah, you can text Kelly. That's what I do all the time to line these two girls
Texts
up.
are so much easier.
That is the safest way to contact us, is text messages.
Yeah, because you're able to be short and to the point, whereas a phone conversation,
They can get
takes a little-
long-winded
Yeah, it does,
sometimes.
for sure. So-
Yeah.
Sometimes we're in with the animals and there's no possible way we would hear you.
Right.
If you're trying
barking
to talk
dogs.
to
She
us.
just looked up at your face when you said there's no way we could hear you. Like,
I
she
ignore
looks
you.
up at Alisha,
Yeah.
like she understands what she's
She's a
saying.
very social cat. Like she's very in tune with humans. She's a neat kitty for sure. It breaks my heart that somebody didn't want her because I think she's wonderful. She's actually living in my house right now and does just fine. So.
I mean, we have had some absolutely gorgeous luxurious long-haired cats living with us that were cats that people took out in the country and threw
Just
out.
dropped.
They wound up showing up at our house, you know.
Yep.
So
Oftentimes it's if they're pregnant or if they're a male and they've gotten their musk in and they start stinking, and then, oh, we'll just go get a new kitten that doesn't stink yet or isn't pregnant yet.
well, yes, male cats really have some bad habits if they are not neutered. If they are not neutered and they are adults, they will deliberately pee inside your house.
They spray to spread their musk for other females.
Yeah. And so there's all kinds of things. Not only that, but I read somewhere not too terribly long ago that male cats that are not neutered, even if you've raised them from a kitten in your home, that they will quite often revert back to being feral. Is that correct?
Yeah, because it's the testosterone. It's the, you know, it's they're just doing what nature's telling them to do, you know. So if you don't address that issue, testosterone can take over. And, you know, obviously it can change the whole personality of your cat. So
that's probably why some people who, after they have had a cat, and it might be a male cat that wasn't neutered, decide that they don't like cats, right? Is because
we get a lot of male kitties.
Because they don't know that if they have the animal neutered, that it will solve a lot of issues.
Right. And that's where the education comes in. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is to educate. Because we're not going to change it if we're just constantly going around fixing it without educating in addition to. The whole part of rescue is the educating. That's very important. And I don't think there's been a lot of that in this area. So that's one of our biggest focuses, especially when it comes to trap, neuter, return. We need people to understand you don't have to be overwhelmed with cats. There is a solution. And we have resources available if people are interested in, you know, taking place in TNR. They can contact us and we can kind of send them in a direction based on where they're located.
And it's important to not wait until you already have 14 cats that you watched and grow and populate. Call when it starts, before they've reproduced repeatedly.
Right. Makes our job a lot easier if it's just 2 or 4 instead of 27. 30.
Right. Or 40.
Or 40.
Like Alisha is putting up with right now.
I'd say she's been putting up with it lately because I've been busy with my new job. So
Gosh.
I haven't been around as much, but luckily she does have a volunteer there that is there quite a bit, and he's very dedicated.
He comes about every other day, so he helps me with cat pans and stuff. And
well, you know, and this is very diabolical, what I'm getting ready to tell you about is, and I have had people actually say to my face that they do it, but there are people who deliberately will run over cats if they see one in the road. And like I said, it's very, very diabolical and mean. And
people
cruel.
shoot them. There was just a cat found with a BB in its face.
Oh.
Somebody had shot it in its face.
Did it die?
No. It was just out there living in a colony, unable to really do the things it needed to do because it had a BB in its face.
Oh.
So luckily, an individual found it in a local rescue. I can't remember which rescue, but one of them took the cat and got it the surgeries. It's not in the clear yet, but it's doing better than it was. So
Is that one of the 40 cats?
no, that wasn't one of ours.
It was-
We couldn't help. We're full, so we were unable to help in that situation. So another organization stepped up, thankfully. So
Yeah, it's just,
it's cool.
you know, that, I mean, I have actually had people tell me to my face that they do it. It's
believe.
like
It's like they're proud, and it's like, why are you proud of that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is you know, some people let their cats go outside, you know. I mean, you could be running over somebody's pet.
Right. but they don't care. It's
Because
very
it's a
sad.
cat, you know. I
And
mean,
thank you for letting me know that you are a terrible human. You
Yeah.
know, it's people are like, oh, I'll just shoot him. I just poison this. I'm like, thank you for letting me know that you are a person that I don't like. You are a person that I'm never going to like, and
Yeah.
I will never appreciate you as a human being.
Yeah. Our solution, honestly, for people who want to have outdoor cats is a catio. We
Oh,
have one
yeah.
at the rescue. The cats can still go outside. They're not killing wildlife. They're, they're contained, but they're still outside. They're
it's
enjoying the
kind
weather.
of like a
They're-
cage or
Yeah, it's
something.
like a chicken coop, basically.
And they can go outside the building, come and go
Yep.
from their
And there's, like, shelves and-
building that they can go out
Yep.
and run around in. And
Yep, and we have
like
a
that.
couple ferals that had to be removed, so we brought them to our rescue, and they love it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just sit out there. It comes nighttime, and it's time to bring everybody in, and they just kind of sit there like, no, we're
No,
not
we,
coming in.
we like being outside.
So,
they do
we'll have
like
to
being
chase 'em in.
outside, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
they do.
The safest thing you can do is have them in a catio,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. The world has come to a point where I would not let my cat outside.
Mm-hmm.
No, my cats are indoor only, except for my
Yeah.
one semi-feral that,
Yeah.
he's just been that way his whole life. And I moved to Jamestown, and I kept him at the home where we were at because it was my father's home. So that, because I would never want him to run outside in Jamestown, especially in cities.
Oh, my
It blows
gosh.
my mind when people let their cats outdoor in cities.
And there's these really busy city streets, yeah.
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 Calm down.
And I mean, I will say, some cats have street smarts.
Some of them
don't.
do. Some of them do. I know. It was before I found out about the situation with too many cats in the Mayville area. I had been on an afternoon one time at the Tops parking lot. I had just come out of the grocery store, and I saw this one cat. It was came walking up the sidewalk on the same side of the street as Tops, and I saw it go to the curb and look both
Yep.
ways
Oh, yes.
until it saw there were no cars coming, and then it crossed
Yep.
the street,
My
so-
neighbor cat does that.
So I have one that does that too.
Yep.
The woman that lives across the street from me in Jamestown, when she bought the house, the cat was already there. So she TNR'd him and put him back out. And he comes in and out of her house sometimes. But I watch him because he comes to visit me for pets and treats every day, of course. As soon as he sees me outside, his name's Sonny. As soon as he sees me outside, he's like, and then you see him, he walks up to the edge of the road, looks both ways, crosses, and if a car is like going down one of the cross streets, he hunkers down and watches to see if they're coming this way, and then if they aren't, he keeps going. Otherwise, he like runs and hides behind a bush.
Yeah, cats are very, very intelligent, actually.
Yes.
You know that I said that, don't you? You know that I know that you're intelligent. So anyways, some of them are so amazing the way they figure things out on their own.
Yep. For
I
sure.
mean, we had a cat at one time that figured out how to go up and down an aluminum stepladder safely. Oh gosh, if you bought anything for him, it could be a new bed. He knew right away if it was for him.
Yeah, that's
It's
mine.
like, oh yeah, mommy bought this for me, and they just figure things out, and they figure things out by watching us
Right.
too.
For sure.
too.
And by living and learning. I actually have a kitten right now. He's just so oblivious to the dangers out there. He's just oblivious. Like he sleeps downstairs, and I have this little terrier dog who's horrible. He chases cats all the time, and this
Except for
kitten
this one.
has no fear of this dog. And and I think that they learn as they grow.
They watch and see that
Yeah.
he somewhere along the line has watched and seen that the dog does not actually
Yes.
hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So-
But he's just so naive and so innocent. And it's like life has a lot to teach you, little guy.
Yeah.
And then she has a Duluth orange tabby there that she's holding on to right now that plays fetch. And I slept on her couch before we went to clinic the one night, or the one morning, and when I went to sleep, it kept coming over and dropping its toys on my face to be like, hey, wake up and throw this.
Now, I hear dilute calico mentioned from time to time. Now, if a cat is a dilute calico, does that mean it has a faded look?
It means gray instead of black.
Gray instead of black.
And a lighter orange.
And a lighter
And
orange.
Orange is a
Like
lighter
a,
shade.
Yep.
My daughter calls them creamsicles.
And so calico cats are usually always female.
Yes.
Yes.
Calicos and torties.
Yeah, that
that's a
was
variation
that
of-
was one that Alisha's aunt got that had shown up at our house was
Was
a
a
tortie.
tortoiseshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I described it. I called her up on the phone and I described it and I said, well, part of its body is tiger striped, and then other parts are like a tortoise, look like a tortoise shell cat. And she goes,
It's a tortie.
oh, that's a tortie. That means it's a female. She goes, we've got to get that. We've got to get that cat spayed right away.
Yeah.
She's going.
The other cat we almost brought is a Torby, which is, striped like this cat, but with the orange in between.
Yeah.
It's a special color variation, and those are usually females. Actually,
Yeah, that Torby that Paula got from us, I might have adopted it if I'd known that one of the cats I had was going to get sick and died,
Right.
but
It's hard
which
to
was just
know.
a few months later,
Yeah.
so, oh well, that's the way it goes, I guess.
It is.
And so I can hear her purring.
oh yes, she's very happy.
There's a purr baby.
Look at how hairy looking Alicia's black pants are getting.
And my shirt,
And my
Kelly's
black
covered in it
shirt.
too.
I have soccer ball hair everywhere.
I can see it
Are
floating
these
through the
T-shirts
studio.
available? Can people get them to, or is it just uniforms for you guys?
No, I actually, I just started with the T-shirts through Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. The next round, we're going to do actual order forms because a lot of people needed different sizes and they want sweatshirts and, but this was just kind of a trial run with the T-shirts. I did sell them at the Sweets. I was just at the Sweets last weekend for the 3 days for the Winter Festival. And I did sell quite a few there. But I started real small because I didn't know
You didn't know
if it was going to take off or not. But it really has, and it's amazing how many people are like, we want a small town shelter shirt. So
These are the ones I just make for so people know who I am, because if I'm out doing things, I like returning cats or trapping cats, people will often call the police on me.
They will call the police on you.
So they, I had
dog control too.
I've had the police call me quite a few times because they think I'm either stealing a cat or I'm dumping a cat, or so I just try to make sure that like I'm labeled, people know who I am.
Oh, okay.
It avoids some confrontation. So I just make these at home on my, vinyl cutting machine at home. But those are actually printed.
Yeah, these ones
Triple E.
are. But I mean, my aunt makes these for me too, like for my other shirts. But there's no way she could make
Mass produced.
mass.
Oh,
massive
yeah.
amounts,
Oh,
so.
yeah. Do they come in other colors?
I do black, navy blue, and a light gray. But I do think the next order form, I'm going to open up other color options. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But that's a pretty new thing.
I buy my
Yeah.
T-shirts at Walmart in a pack in the men's section, and heat press
Well,
the design on.
I had a couple of women on Fresh Perspectives one time. We were going to do exercises for the program, and the one woman was wearing this long sleeved T-shirt kind of thing, and she said it was pink. The one she had was pink, and she said she'd bought it in the men's department. And I'm going, you got that in the men's department?
I have 2 pink Hello Kitty shirts right now because Hello Kitty is one of my favorites. In fact, my entire station at work is decorated with Hello Kitty decorations that came from the men's section. And they're powder pink with Hello Kitty on them, and that's why I buy all my shirts in the men's section.
Well, Now you got some advice on how to buy T-shirts, and I'm going to have to say that we've come to the end of another episode of Fresh Perspectives. Thank you, ladies, for coming on again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy to help put have you guys come on and put information out.
We appreciate the opportunity.
I'll see those of you in the viewing audience when I do the next episode.